Siran Mano, I'm back finally. I'm sorry that you haven't heard from me for 2 weeks. I was traveling a lot. I was in Berlin and in Brussels. I had a premiere and a show of the jumping, so it's been a little bit crazy. And I have to say, I was not thinking, well, I've been thinking a lot, but I didn't do so much the last 2 weeks, but I did a lot the week before. And I kind of didn't manage to make videos at that point, but there's a lot to catch up on. I was now looking at all your videos, and yeah, there's a lot of things to speak about. I think, like first, I think Sira, there's many of the things that you speak about in relation to the movement that I actually also have experience maybe in different ways or similar ways, and to try to be a little bit precise, so you speak about 3 different ways that the movement is transforming, where one would be this changes of weight or increases or decreases of tension, and another would be what did you say now? Something about how it travels from one body part to another. I was also quite busy with these things, so for me the miniature version that I was trying to explain you, actually it is this what you also say about putting 2 feet and leaving them on the ground. What I do when I do the miniature is that I place myself in a position and I stay in this position for 20 minutes, and what I do is to kind of work on very minimal weight changes, and also passing in and out of perceptibility. So sometimes being so small that you don't see it, and other times actually going into the point where it actually becomes movement. And and I think I will try this, what you suggest, this slow motion version, to see what this will do also. I think I already let go completely of this like this very rhythmic, very physical version of the trance dance, which we practice together a lot. But I think for a while I was already working much slower, and that it doesn't need to have this very, very high energy. So, but I will try this. Slow motion to see what that feels like. Then I also thought, like, your recording of the text. I want to try also to make one where I listen. So and maybe what you say also about the memory. So to try to dance from the memory, because I was thinking a lot about what kind of imagination we actually need in order to produce this double layer between a kind of abstract physicality and then a narrational line that can run on top or can run parallel to this physical abstract thing that is going on. And I'm not yet sure. I also thought maybe what we could try is also to really learn a text by heart, for example, and to actually say this text in our heads while we are dancing, to see if that does something. I don't know. But maybe I start with what you proposed, to actually listen. So to hook up the machine and to actually play the soundtrack that you made, and to dance with that, and then to do it again without the soundtrack and working with the memory. One thing that I already somehow sense is that it seems to make more sense to derive from the physical, finding myself in certain positions that I then start to attribute some sort of situation. So, for example, I find myself that the legs are heavy, and then I imagine that I'm in a swamp. So that this relationship between the dancing and between the physical and the imaginary, that this is somehow, I don't know yet how we can work on this, but I think we should really try different strategies. So so maybe you tried this already, I will try it also, and maybe Mano wants to try it also, to see. I also worked on several other things. For example, I started working on producing loops in space, because I think the whole thing has to do with loops also. So I started to make this kind of, where I make a spatial loop, so a circle or a square or whatever, and that I try to transform my movement. So I produce a physical loop that is somehow stable, and then I try to transform it. So I do one round in the spatial loop, and I try to transform the physical loop while I'm going around in the spatial loop. It's not really excellent, but there's something interesting there that I would like to continue on. So if you want to try that, maybe you could. Also, what else was I working on? Ah, yeah, I was also working on going from walking. So actually, because I'm now thinking a lot about also this traveling, like spaceship travels or nomadic travels, or how we are traveling through spaces. And so I started with this idea of walking or locomotion, because a walk is actually also a loop. So it's not really the trance dance, but it has still this, you can think of it as a loop. And then what I do is that I try to start to transform this walk, so that I start to put more emphasis on one hip than on the other, and then it passes into another part of the body, and so it becomes a very strange walk. And I try to all the time transform it, so go from running to walking very small to big steps to, so somehow finding a way to really make this trance dance locomote through space, and it becomes these kind of very strange walks. This I find also quite interesting. I don't know exactly why or how. Then I was also I was working on this polyrhythmic thing, so where I try to do one, so I start a loop, but then I try to dissociate different body parts, so that one body part can start going in a different speed than another. And this, I think, may be interesting in relation to what Sira is also speaking about this, about how you can have one rhythm going in the head and another one going in the body, and maybe how these different layers of movement can influence each other, so that you can also have 4 different rhythms going on in the body. This I would like to, I will try to work on that more, to see if there is something there. But I feel like there's a lot of things now that came up in these 2 weeks that I was away, and I would like to keep talking. I think I'm going to finish this video now, because right now I'm not sharp anymore, but I will make another one, so see you in a little bit. Ciao.